seems to be how today's going for you. Jess, holding on to that hat. What's it like out there?
It's pretty rough, Sarah. It is pretty rough. As you can see behind me, Highway 44, like you mentioned, conditions on Highway 44 are not great, mainly due to this wind. That's right, Sarah. We're experiencing some horrible conditions. Truthfully, the winds are just whipping through town. We were planning on taking you over to First Street to give you a look at all the semis that are lined up after the highway was closed. However, we just couldn't make it. But as you can see here behind me, we do even have semis stopped here along 2nd Avenue. Now, I wanted to mention that the emergency management of Buffalo County did say last night at 11 p.m. that almost every bridge in Buffalo County has water running over it. Oh, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to turn around. This wind is out of control. I-80 westbound is closed all the way from Kearney to Wyoming, and it's closed going in the other direction all the way from Wyoming to Ogallala. Highway 30 is closed in both directions from Kearney to Wyoming. Now, the emergency crews did want to stress that just because only these major arteries are closed, they are begging you not to take the secondary roads. Just because they're open does not mean they're safe. Just getting here, it was only a couple of mile drive, and I can honestly tell you that while some areas were okay, suddenly the wind would pick up, making driving conditions extremely difficult. We don't have a ton of snow accumulation here in Kearney, but it's those high winds that are picking up randomly, and oh, here's another one, that are gusting the snow, blowing it, making it near whiteout conditions. We also have a lot of ice accumulation on the roads here. It's not slick, it's actually kind of bumpy, textured ice, but it is making it very, very difficult to stop if you need to do that. Again, crews are begging you to stay off the roads if you're possible. And please continue just to check social media. We'll be continuing to update the conditions. Sarah, I'm going to send it back to you. This is really intense out here. I think my eyelashes are freezing.
Oh no, well thank you so much for showing us the conditions firsthand, Jessica. Get warm, we'll check in with you in a little bit.
44 is open right now, but just because that street is open right now does not mean that the driving conditions are good at all. Regina has just informed me that our most recent wind speeds, our most recent wind gust readings that we're getting from Holdridge have jumped up to 51 miles per hour. Now that's just in the last hour. If you remember, last time I told you it was 46. Now I want to take you down here. I want to show you, because this here is the result of the flooding from yesterday, and this wind is blowing it up, blowing up these little chunks, and that's going to be the same effect that we're going to be seeing on our roadways. And that is what's making these road conditions just so dangerous, just so terrible. So many areas saw flooding yesterday all across the state. Another thing I wanted to mention was Black Hills Energy. Now they said any customer of theirs that had flooding, their natural gas has been shut off for safety reasons. They also said if there are any different appliances or meters that have been submerged, those are going to have to be professionally inspected before they're going to return your service. Again, that is Black Hills natural gas customers will be shut off during this flooding time. And Sarah, these wind gusts are making things difficult for people to drive. It's blowing snow, it's creating whiteout conditions, and quite frankly, it's making things extremely dangerous. Again, we don't know when I-80 is going to open, and in fact, like Cindy said, it's now closed all the way from Grand Island to Wyoming. But Sarah, let's send it back to you.
All right, let's get you inside and somewhere warm. Thanks so much, Jessica.
It's terrible. The wind gusts, according to Regina, were in the 40s, but I believe she said 46 mile per hour wind gusts. And I want to give you just an idea of just what those wind gusts look like. I'm not sure if you can see this, but our lights, the signals are just swaying in the wind. The snow is blowing clear across the roadways here. Now, we have been seeing more traffic than I would have hoped on the roadways, truthfully, but if you'll be able to see this at some point, they're covered in packed down snow as well as ice, so that you can see it because it's not black ice, but it's this textured, bumpy, but still very slippery ice. And we don't have a ton of snow accumulation here in Kearney, but the snow that we do have is blowing sideways, creating whiteout conditions at times, making it difficult making it difficult to stand and making it very difficult to speak and breathe, quite frankly. Now, we do have a lot of semis lined up here on 2nd Avenue behind me, and those are there because I-80 is closed westbound from Kearney to Wyoming. It's also closed eastbound from Wyoming to Ogallala. And again, Highway 30 is closed in both directions. So like I said, we are seeing vehicles on the road. Quite frankly, I'm not sure where they're headed. They must be staying here in town. 2nd Avenue has been getting plowed regularly. We've been seeing a ton of plows out like you just saw past there, but that doesn't mean that the side streets are safe. It doesn't even mean, quite frankly, that 2nd Avenue is safe. Now, we did try to speak with a plow truck driver, but unfortunately, he's just too busy to stop and chat with us. So, Sarah, just please really encourage everyone to just stay off those roads if possible. There's really nowhere to go.
Yeah, thanks so much for that update, Jessica.
Dozens of semis are filling the parking lot of the Kearney Archway, as well as First Street. They've all spent the night after the closing of I-80.
Better safe than sorry. They shut it down for a reason. The biggest reason is safety, so you got to understand that.
About 75 semis filling the Archway parking lot and lining First Street, some even spilling onto 2nd Avenue. Each one here overnight following the closing of I-80.
Well, we was trucking down the road, coming on down 80, hoping we could get to California. And when we got right here in Kearney, right here, the officers had the road blocked. And I was like, oh man, something going on. And they viewed us off over here, and we've been here since yesterday evening around about 4:30.
While some truckers say safety needs to be a priority, others say essentials and amenities should also be considered when stopping traffic at the Archway, which is closed due to weather.
There was a truck stop down at exit 257. They should at least let us go somewhere where we can go to the bathroom, take a shower, at least get something to eat. Because that place back there is closed. So they just hung us out here to dry. And that's bull.
But despite the conditions, Nebraska hospitality still rings true.
We had a gentleman come by here last night and was offering to take people over to the cafes and help us out, so it worked out nice.
And all of us at NTV would like to give a sincere thank you to the road crews, first responders, and emergency personnel who are braving the temperatures to help keep all of us safe. Jessica Stevenson, NTV News, Kearney.